Hi, folks. Here we are. It is Wednesday. It is now November. We're less than 60 days from the end of 2022. For those of us that want to see the year go by and start a new one, I'm all in at that at the same time. I'm Tom Young, and I'm here for AnchorFM.com podcast called Money Shifts, and a live broadcast for the Family Money Farm group on Facebook. You know, every day we come here and talk about things, and today is about financial pitfalls. We've been talking about mindset. Yes, the other day, Monday, I talked about identity a little bit, and we'll combine all of that together. But I want to continue my journey on proving and disproving some misconceptions that people have of the financial world and how they should make decisions. Be aware that, we did a thing on Monday about compound interest. Many times I'll meet people and they say, gee, well, we're going to make 6% and it's compounded and taxable. So you're in a 30%, 33% tax bracket. So you're going to net 4. So we're going to project 4. Well, the problem with that is interest is exponential over time, and the difference between 6 and 4 gets wider and wider the further out we go. So it is a misleading statement to say that, you make 6, pay tax, so you're net 4. Maybe in 1 year that's true. But if you're making a projection, as many in the financial planning arena do, then the projection would be erroneous. It would not be accurate. It would not be correct. And we cannot afford to be incorrect. We're going to talk about some of that today, and we're going to talk about some of the simple financial pitfalls that can be avoided. And each week, I am going to cover mathematics and calculators on some very simple ideas, whether it be college education and how much is it really going to cost me over my lifetime and loss of retirement income, to mortgages from 15-year mortgage and 30-year mortgage. And unfortunately, right now, with the economy in the USA, the interest rates are skyrocketing, and a 30-year mortgage is now in excess of 7%. Now, that may seem like a disaster, but historically, mortgage rates on average have always been, the normal would be like around 6%. That would be the same as the normal for the federal funds rate. A 10-year treasury, the average there was around 6%, and they drove it down to almost zero, almost less than 1%. And now that is coming back up because of the circumstances that we are in right now. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a while. We start every presentation with prayers for everybody around the world. This pandemic, this virus that came out of this Wuhan lab in China has literally changed everything. It has touched every life in the world, from the Amazon jungles to the Sahara Desert to the plains of Siberia. Everybody has been impacted by what has happened. And in a way, it's changed a lot of things. So we need to figure out, how do we get back on track? And maybe we can't change the world picture and the way things go on in the world. We have to start with us. Our individual situation, just like the interest rates the other day. You may not think that was much, but somewhere along the way, you're going to be involved with a financial planner or financial planning. And I would ask you, if you were sitting in my office, I would ask you, tell me about your experiences with financial planning or financial planners. And I would thank you for sharing that with me, and move on from there. And what are the 3 most important financial goals that you have looking at your future? Those are very important questions, because I work for you not anybody else. And my goal is to help you achieve and accomplish those things in life that you would like to accomplish. And part of that starts with thinking correctly, getting the 6-inch, this muscle, this thinking muscle between our ears, getting it functioning correctly. We have a quote today, and we're still talking about Harry Truman. And the quote is, if you can't convince them, confuse them. Now that is an unbelievable quote. I mean, this guy's from 60 years ago, but isn't that what's going on today? If you can't convince them, confuse them. That is absolutely what is going on in our political environment today, financial environments today. I was reading a great article yesterday about digital coinage that they're talking about creating. And that is as scary as it can be, because a digital currency, they would be able to track everything that you do. They would know where you spend your money, how you spend your money, etc. And with digital currency, the government could turn it off and turn it on. They could prevent you from spending it in certain ways, or they could get you to spend it in ways they want you to spend it. This is scary, scary stuff that is going on around us, which leads me all more important to looking at what we do. Now, there's a questionnaire, prosperity pitfalls, and let me read you some of the questions, and the answers are yes and no. Are your vehicle and home insurance deductibles as high as possible? Now, why would I ask that question? So many people have low deductibles on their homeowners and their auto, and they're paying extreme higher premiums in order to have that. Now, that is the way people end up if they have no savings. Remember, the example I've used over and over and over again is, if we have some substantial savings, then I can have higher deductibles. So what is the multiplier effect there? Well, if I have savings that is long-term savings and it's substantial, 10,000 or more in savings, I can have higher deductibles on my home and my auto, which means I pay lower premium, which means I can save more money. Do you have a liability umbrella? That's $1 million catastrophic coverage umbrella for $1 million. They're only a couple of $100. So if you're fortunate enough to have accumulated some wealth and you have more than $250,000 of net worth, you should by all means add $1 million catastrophic liability umbrella to your portfolio. Do you have medical and disability insurance? Are you using only term insurance? Do you have a current will or trust? If you have young children and you have life insurance, you cannot name children. Well, you can name children, minor children, as beneficiaries, but all you're going to do with that is you're going to turn it into the court. So God forbid something happens to you, or you and your husband and your kids are left and they are the beneficiary, and there is no will that projects or names a guardian or whatever, then there has to be petitions made to the court, attorneys hired, and so there is a lot of expense simply that could be avoided by a few $100 investment in wills and powers of attorney and making sure you have that. Have you appointed guardians for your minor children? That's what I was just talking about. Do you have a place for important papers that people would know where to find them? Your children, your adult children would know where to find them. Are you saving money on a regular basis? Are you compounding or reinvesting in taxable account? Are you dollar cost averaging into mutual funds? Are you using only the stock market for building wealth? Are you using annuities to build wealth? Are you contributing to 529 plans or uniform gift to minor accounts? Are you contributing more than your match to your 401k or 403b? Are you adding new money to IRAs and Roth IRAs? Are you counting opportunity costs? Are you learning how to use your death benefit while living? Just some questions, folks. Just some questions. And I want to talk really about those things. All of those questions are for the purpose of education. Let's get educated. Let's get some real verifiable knowledge. That would be God's plan, wouldn't it? Wouldn't the Lord above want it to be correct? Wouldn't he want you to be doing the right things? He would want to prosper you, quoting the New Testament, and provide happiness, prosperity. That is what it is really about. And we are so brainwashed by advertising and the news media today that it simply guarantees that 95% of the people are going to end up dead or dead broke. One ends up rich, four are well off, doing okay, but the rest of them are dead or dead broke. That's a 25-year-old traveling over their lifetime to age 65, over 40 years. That's the result. We need to change that. You can change that by starting to think differently. And there isn't anything on here that I would say or tell you that I couldn't back up with mathematics and absolute unquestionable proof. Remember, lies are easily believed, but truth takes work. So polishing your lenses so you can see the true potential in your future, changing the way you think, learning how to visualize. And that comes back to what I said the other day about identity. How do you identify with yourself? Do you see yourself as somebody that is going to achieve, or you can think with the end in mind? Do you already see yourself achieving the goals that you have set for yourself? It is so important to create that vision, to be able to sit down and close your eyes and meditate on what you expect to become, what you expect to look like in the future. What do you expect your golf game to be? I think about that all the time because I love to play golf. But we have to see what's possible. And so few people struggle with that because that's where it all starts, folks. You have to see it. You have to have faith in it. You have to believe that the great thing can happen in your life. And as we go forward, we're going to do mortgages. We're going to look at money, savings, 401k, all of these retirement plans. How do they really work? I'm not going to tell you what to do, but we're going to examine all of these financial instruments and how they really work. And let's see if they line up with what you are really thinking, what your real goals and ambitions are for the future. So I'll see you here in a couple of days. Get my book, The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project. You can go to the CFO Project. There it is. Put in your name and address, get an email with a link to download both of those new books, The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project, The Financial Mastery Coaching, the Blueprint. Those two books will give you an absolute foundation of thinking and understanding the four rules of the financial world and how you can turn them around and circumvent their rules and make them your own so that you end up with wealth and financial security beyond anything you ever thought was possible. It just takes thinking correctly, takes discipline, and you have to want it. If you want it, I'm the guy you want to talk to. So you want to go to cfo-project.com right there. Put in your name and email address. You'll get my two new books. In addition to that, you have an opportunity to invest $37 to pick up 4 more books, 3 one-hour videos, and an hour of personal coaching with me. God bless you. We'll see you here again in a couple of days. Okay, where you at, little man? There it is. There he is. God bless.